Howdy all, and welcome to Lax Lives. I'm Canner, and this is Lack Plays Feed the Beast Test Pack Please Ignore. Alright, so, last time we ended, I think I was talking about, well, I built my quarry, but I think I was talking about the ore layering and the letter I got. I really should have opened that again. I don't remember exactly what it says now, it's been too long. But playing on a couple of different servers, the difference is really huge between the ore layering and the I can't stop talking about ore layering. Wow. Just I don't know. I know one of the things that it's fine, and I will live with it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to stop playing the pack because I have to go to different sections to get to the ore. But one of the big differences I also noticed with ore layering is that you can't go down to like diamond level and mine for diamonds and get other ores that you need because they don't exist down there anymore. And and I'm used to that from other packs I play, and this one just doesn't have it. You don't get iron or silver and lead, or even on the monster pack that I play on. That one even has copper all the way down there occasionally, and you know, and so I was so used to doing my strip mining for diamonds to get the diamonds to build stuff that I don't know, you spend a couple hours going after diamonds, and then you got to spend a couple hours going after the other stuff. All right. Anyways, so I built my quarry last time, and I've got it set up. I don't think I did the tesseracts yet, but I am using tesseracts. I really like these things, and you can see I've got a little bit of a contraption going here, and we'll talk about that right now. So my quarry, it's down. This is what it looks like when your quarry is running. Bloop, bloop, if you've never seen one before. They're not that difficult to set up. A quarry has a built-in chunk loader, so it keeps your chunk going. You have to make sure you have enough power going into them to keep them going, and like a one or two basic engines aren't going to do it. You've got to have something a little more powerful. But with the windmills, or the wind turbines that I'm using for mechanism, I can actually connect those into a tesseract and have the RFs sent from the wind turbines out here to where my quarry's at. And let's take a look at tesseracts real quick. Tesseract. All right. So to start off with, you have to build this tesseract frame. And to build that, you're going to have to make some hardened glass, or fused glass, or reinforced glass, or whatever you want to make. I made hardened glass. Hardened glass is, I'm going to have to kill that what are you called? Oop, a mushroom. Shut it, mushroom. I'm in a, I'm in a mushroom biome because it's got special bees, and you can find nether beehives and end beehives, and in these new mod packs, because they used to only spawn in the appropriate dimension. So if you wanted nether bees, you had to go to the nether. If you wanted end bees, you had to go to the end. But now that they spawn in the overworld in certain biomes, you can get glowstone and ender pearls from the blocks around the beehives. So I'm totally out here quarrying this place up to get that, as well as the other supplies. But anyways, let's go back to the tesseract. So reinforced glass is the crushed. Whoa! I didn't click fast enough. Oop. You can also make this too. I also have the advanced alloy, so it wouldn't be such a hassle to make the reinforced glass. But will you let me show? Oop, reinforced glass. Can't do it. Can't click on it. There we go. It's just the obsidian and the lead. We've looked at it before. I guess I didn't need to try that hard. A diamond in the middle, and then these Enderium ingots. And now you saw I had the induction smelter. So in the induction smelter, you want to throw in two things: pyrotheum dust and Enderium blend. So pyrotheum dust is coal, sulfur, redstone, and blaze powder. You get the sulfur dust either out of the ground or you can get it by when you pulverize your coal. The side product is sulfur, so it's easy to get the sulfur dust. And redstone is easy to come by, right? Blaze powder, though, you might find that tricky, but I actually have a way to get it pretty easy. Killing a blaze is not easy. It doesn't really matter how geared up you are. Killing blazes is never easy. And they don't always drop their blaze rods, and half the time they're over lava, so it gets destroyed anyways. So with the test pack, please ignore, and I think some of the other Feed the Beast packs now, you can put glowstone in the fluid transposer where you saw me making my my conduits. So liquid redstone and glowstone in a liquid. You put the redstone in a magma crucible, it melts down into your liquid transposer, and then you put glowstone in liquid transposer, it comes out as blaze powder. For every tesseract you want to make, you need to do this once or twice. I can't remember. You get two of these, so you need to do it once. One round of this will get you 2 pyrotheum dust, and then with your 1 pyrotheum dust, you have to put it with 2 Enderium blend, but you get 2 Enderium ingots, and you need 4 of those per tesseract. So you want to do this twice because you're going to need 2 tesseracts for this to work. Enderium blend is crushed 10, pulverized 10, and a shiny ingot, or platinum dust if you come up with platinum dust. I usually use shiny ingots. You can get the shiny ingots from pulverizing ferrous dust, and the byproduct is going to be your shiny ingots. And then this down here is just a bucket of liquid ender, right? You put the ender pearl in your magma crucible, you feed that into your liquid transposer or fluid transposer, whatever it's called now, and you put a bucket in, it fills up with liquid ender, and that's it. So it's not too bad. And then once you get the frame, then you drop the frame into the fluid transposer that's full of liquid ender, resonant ender it's called, and then it comes out as a tesseract frame. And then you take the tesseract frame and you put bronze and silver around it, and it becomes a tesseract. Now the tesseracts are really easy to work with. You put them down next to what you're transferring, and they can transfer items, fluids, and RF. And so because my wind turbines are producing RF, I just have to connect it into the redstone conduit that's coming off of them. And then I want them to send and receive items from my quarry, and that's where it gets a little tricky. So right now all the items from my quarry are being sent back to my base for storage, and the only real trick to them is deciding if it's sending or receiving. Receiving energy means it's going to receive the energy where it's at, and so it's not the same thing as like a redstone cell where you're telling it whether it's going to output energy or input energy. This just means that it's being transmitted to this tesseract, and then you can flow it to wherever you need it to. So this is receiving energy, sending items. You have to choose a frequency, and up here where it's got the little lock, you can choose between public access, restricted access, and owner only. I set mine to owner only so nobody can tap into my frequencies. If they're public, you can see there's a reactor and Sev. So Sev, who's on the server, he's got 2 public frequencies. Somebody's got a quarry on restricted access, or maybe that was mine. I put mine on owner only, so I'm the only one that can use it. You type a name in here for it. You don't have to type a name, but I use a name just to make it easier to remember. And then you hit this little plus button, and it will save the name and the frequency you choose. Now, since this is mine, I just typed in a 1 because I might as well start at the beginning. If it's public, you have to make sure you don't overwrite somebody else's code. And now because it's It's make sure it's working. Yeah, all right. Now the Quarry uses MJs and not RF, so I can't put the tesseract right next to it. And so I put down the redstone energy conduit because the conduits automatically convert RF to MJ, and it's 10 RF for every MJ. So you can see I'm getting, I think I get about, I honestly don't know. This redstone energy conduit will transfer 1,000, and I'm not sure how much a tesseract can transfer now. It used to be 100 MJs, I think. So I don't know if it does 1,000 RF or not, but uh, so I dropped my redstone energy conduit. It's converting it into MJs for the Quarry. You can see my Quarry isn't hitting 0, so it's staying running pretty well. I also added some new windmills to keep it running at this speed. One of the problems I had with it, though, is that you can't put a tesseract on top of a Quarry and get the items into it, or at least you couldn't. Someone was telling me you could, but it's never worked for me. I get stuff falling out of the Quarry if I try that. I used to just drop the tesseract right on top of the Quarry, but because of the difference in MJs and stuff, I stopped doing that. I also couldn't get the Quarry to output into an item duct earlier. Not on this version. I have not tried on this version because now I've got to set up, and I just go with my setup. And so I just drop a chest on top of it, and then the item duct will output from the chest to the tesseract. And then I've got um, a pneumatic servo in here, right? The piece you use to control the item duct. All right, and so it's just redstone signal turned off, so it's pumping out of the chest into the tesseract. And so that's it. It's not too difficult of a setup. The hardest part is probably getting your frequency set up on your tesseract and making sure it's sending items and receiving energy on this end. Setting up a Quarry is pretty easy. If you've never done that, what you're going to want to do is you're going to need to get these landmarks, which is a redstone torch. Redstone torch is a stick with a piece of redstone. And then you take 3 of those and you put the redstone torches here, and then you put lapis, and it becomes this landmark. And you just drop these at the corner where you want to put your Quarry, like that, and it puts out this line. A Quarry, I don't have a Quarry Plus, I've got a Quarry. It'll do 64 by 64. And so this line runs down 64 blocks. And so you just put another one at that corner, and then you go to an opposite corner. Doesn't matter which one, and put it there. And then when they're all dropped, when you've got your redstone torch and your landmark, then you just right-click on this, and it'll turn red. This line will turn red, letting you know it linked up to the other landmark. And then you just put your Quarry at the corner where you want it to be. And so you can see my Quarry's at the corner. I put a landmark here, I put a landmark down there, I put one in that corner, I came back here, I right-clicked the landmark, dropped my Quarry. It gave me a message that it was going to chunk load 25 chunks. It's not always going to be 25 chunks, but it should be pretty close. The reason there's a difference is that it depends on how close you get to the chunk boundary. And so the closer you are to actual chunk boundaries, the less chunks it has to load. 25 means I wasn't close and it had to load all the chunks it had to load. Although I think someone told me the other day they got theirs to say 17, so they were right on the chunk boundaries, which means they were really even. It doesn't matter if you are or not. And then one more little trick with quarries before we move back to the base, and look at what I did there. Quarries cannot harvest through oil or lava. So make sure if there's oil, you do something with the oil. If there's lava, I usually just drop a bucket of water in my quarry and let the quarry fill up with water. 1 bucket of water at the corner like you just drop a bucket of water right here when it's starting, um, is enough. It will eventually flood the whole quarry, and it'll be good. I know one of the guys on the server is always talking about lag from the quarries, but I've never noticed it, and he's always trying to drain his quarries, or he starts them at the surface and then lets them dig down. I try to bury mine. I know I didn't do a good job on this one, um, but usually I bury mine deep enough that you can't see them. I was just worried about getting copper this time around, and since copper is around level 60, I wanted to 64, I think is the highest it can be. I wanted to make sure I was high enough to get some, so I set it at 65 and let it dig down from there. Next time, though, I will probably dig down to level 55, which is usually where I set my quarries, and that's low enough to not be visible above ground. All right, so we're gonna head back. Whoa. I don't know if I showed this either. This is a portal from a portal gun. They are absolutely awesome. This is a portal gun right here, and it's on a portal stand, and you just you can see it's got a piece of meat on the end here. It's a bacon portal gun. I usually make the potato portal gun when I can, but this one was given to me, and I usually get a bacon portal gun when he's making portal guns. And it's got two portals, and they're, if you use a bacon or a potato portal gun, then they're bound to you. Um, a normal portal gun is shared, so everybody who has a normal portal gun has the same portal, but everybody who's got their own bacon or potato gun gets their own portal. And so even though it might be the same color as other people's, I'm the only one that can. My gun is the only one that will make this particular bound portal. It just knows it belongs to this gun, and so you just you left click to put down the one color and right click to put down the other, and then you can jump between them. You can also use it to move things, which is awesome. Let me show you that. So let me get it off the stand here, and you can see it's got the two colors around the aimer, and I can show you the pink one because we're not going anywhere. But you just aim and shoot. You can also, or you used to be able to shoot the moon, just like in the Portal 2 game. I think that's our Portal 1 game, and have it suck things in. I've never tried that, but I always want to. I'm not going to, though, because my quarry's at the other end of my portal. But if you hit the G key, then you can move like chest full of goods, which is awesome. And if you hit the R key, then it will remove your portals. And this portal stand is really easy to make. It's in the it's in the recipes. It's just a couple of blocks, and it gives you a spot to put your portal gun, so it's out in the open. Now this is my barrel system, and I think we looked at this a little earlier. It's a little larger now. Speaking of that, large barrels. Small barrels do 64 stacks of 64. I'm using large barrels now, and because I'm at the point where the only time I need new barrels when a barrel fills up, and you can see like here, my iron is almost at 64 stacks, larger spruce wood barrel, so it'll hold 128 stacks. And to make those, you just take two barrels and put a hopper in between them. Very easy to make. But this is my setup. We're gonna have to go outside here to look at it. I added four more windmills just to get more power into my quarry. But here's the other tesseract, and I wanted it out here so it could connect into the windmill power. And you can see it's attached here, and so it's set to send energy and receive items. Now on the end of this, I've got a chest. And so the items come into a chest. You don't have to do the chest on this end, but I like to have the chests in case the other end of my inventory system gets clogged. And so what happens is it'll get a couple things in there that it doesn't know where to put them, and then it just freezes up. And so all the stuff is still coming from the quarry. And so I've basically got 3 chests that are going to fill up with stuff before the quarry starts spitting stuff out on the ground. And so it's just a buffer. And then I tried something new this time. Well, this isn't new. I use the item ducts, right? They pump out of the chest, but they come up here, and this is something I'd never used before. And I saw somebody using one of these, not in their quarry system, but they just had one. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. I can bypass the buildcraft step that I used to have in my setup, and I'll just use these trash cans. Trash cans just instantly destroy whatever gets put into them. You can see I just made those blocks disappear forever. So what I did was I just attached, well, I dropped 4 of them out here, and I put them outside because, I'm trying to make it look very, like someone took a castle and then tried to adapt it to technology. And so bits and pieces are going to be on the outside. This is something I don't need on the inside. I just come out when I need to switch it. And so I just drop in the pneumatic servo, and I put in the things that I don't want. The diamond pipe that I normally use has way more. It has 9, just like this. This has got 9, right? 9. Each of these filters is 9, and every side could be a filter. So it's not that different, I guess. And I don't have these 2 attached, so I'm only running 18 things into the trash can at the moment. Everything else is going into my quarry. But then that feeds into the room with the barrels. And then in here, you can see this is an output, so it's going to feed in. This is outside from where the trash cans were at. And they feed into these routers. And I absolutely love the router barrel setup. I don't know why, I just do. And so this is an item router. They're made with dark iron. Item router. Okay, totally not what it's called. Router. I've never used the Mine Factory item router. I just use the factorization routers because that's what I'm familiar with. And so it's just dark iron, a couple of ender pearls, a blaze powder. An eye of ender is an ender pearl and a blaze powder, and an egg. And so you get these routers. Now my dark iron, of course, is I mined up a bunch of that. I've got a whole bunch right now. Ender pearls, of course, I've got my ender pearl plants outside making ender pearls for me. So I've got plenty of ender pearls to do this. I made 2 of them. I also made this thing here, a bandwidth upgrade. It allows the router to handle entire stacks at a time. Without the upgrade, the router sends 1 item at a time. With the upgrade, it will send a whole stack at a time. And so the way these work is they will send to any touching inventory. And so you put down a barrel, and then it will feed into the barrel. And then you put a barrel next to that one, and so those inventories are touching, and so it can send to that inventory as well. And so what you see is I get a room with walls of barrels, lots of barrels, all full of stuff, and these routers are attached to all these barrels because they're all touching each other. In the corners, there's just a single barrel somewhere behind these barrels that I put cobblestone in. And same thing in this corner, there's a barrel right in the corner here where these match. So like over here, I don't have one yet. We could do one up real quick though. So what I would do is I would grab one of my small barrels here and a stack of cobblestone, and then you just come up here and you put in a barrel and you put in cobblestone like that, and then the next barrel you put up on this side will then be touching the inventory all the way around, and so that way the routers can connect to it. Now, if the router gets something there isn't a barrel for, then it can't place it. And I've tried different setups to get this to work, and I honestly should probably move this chest up here so it's touching, but I haven't done it yet. And so right now, all I've done is I've set my item duct opaque, so it will only flow into the chest if it can't go into the routers. And it just goes in the chest if the routers get jammed up. That's it. So like these bees, you see all these bees, they're a little irritating because they don't stack well. And so you can see like these are both infernal princesses, but they're weird. And so one's pristine stock and one's ignoble stock. And so they don't stack with each other. The only bee that really stacks well are the rocky princesses. And I got one valiant princess one time, and that's it. I've only gotten one of those. Oh, and these over here, what are these? Attuned. I've only gotten those one time too. Um, but I got a whole bunch of like Ender princesses and infernal princesses and stuff like that. And so I basically have been sending them into the trash now. But you can see that when those get into your router, then your router doesn't know where to send them. And so then that's when the stuff flows into the diamond chest. Or like when your iron fills up to 64 and you've only got a 64 barrel, it doesn't know where to send the next iron, so then that fills up the router, and so then everything needs to go someplace. And so that's why I've got the overflow chests. That way there's someplace for the things to flow. Uh, um, all right. I think these are new machines too. I had a lot I've done. I'm pretty sure we did the electrolyzer. I think we did the centrifuge. I have added a lathe and an automatic canning machine. Um, and I built the industrial grinder. And it's just hooked up to the power over here. But it's the industrial grinder is another multi-block contraption. You can see it's got a pipe here leading down and to the right. So in this chest is the tiny dust that it makes, and then down is just a chest to hook it in to the system because I needed to filter things down, and the pipes don't let you just filter if you don't have something it's flowing into. So this chest is just basically the buffer so I could set a filter. And then it just runs down, 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 down here into the hopper for my redstone furnace. Because why make another furnace if I can just use that one? And I replaced my chest with a tesseract. And so what happens is when I throw stuff in here to cook, um, basically what I've done is I've filtered down my iron and stuff. So like you can see here, we've got 17 stacks of iron, 10 stacks of tin, 11 stacks of gold. So let's get some copper here. And so I throw copper into my industrial grinder. What it's going to do is it's going to grind the copper, and it's going to make this purified copper ore and two tiny dusts. So the tiny dusts have to come over here, and then the purified ore goes down into this chest. And then the nice thing about this chest is not everything needs to be ground. So like, if I did dark iron, well, that doesn't get ground up first, so I need to just throw that into the furnace. So I can just come right here. I throw it in here, and then it comes back up here from downstairs automatically. And so you can see, should be getting copper soon. It might take a bit for it to get all the way down that long pipe because I didn't fill the whole thing up with impulse. All right, so let's look at the grinder real quick, and this should be about the last thing we do. I'll talk about the lathe and the automatic canning machine. Well, we can talk about those maybe if we have time here. Industrial grinder. So the industrial grinder is made of several machines, 2 machines anyways. And a new thing, we've done advanced circuits. We saw the industrial electrolyzer. A pump is new. I made the pump. It's just a basic machine casing, some empty cells, some mining pipes, which is the iron plates with the tree tap, Back when I used to make the miner, I'd use that. And then we made diamond grinder, fancy grinding head, which I use steel plates. You cook down or you grind down diamonds, 4 diamonds, and then this has to be an industrial diamond. So that's where you grind up the coal and then compress the coal with flint to make coal balls, and then you compress the coal balls with like obsidian to make whatever that a coal chunk, I think, and then the coal chunk gets compressed again in the compressor. It's all done in the compressor to make the industrial diamond. You need 3 of those grinder heads, as you saw, and that gets you the industrial grinder. And then it needs a water supply, so you can see right there is fluid duct coming up from my aqueous accumulator with water. And then this spot here is for your liquid, and we'll talk about that here in a second, because I don't always use water. And then this is for the item that's being ground. And then you can see the little pattern here. The middle square here is blue, and then this is the control panel, and it's on the middle square. And so what happens is the machine casing, I had to have standard and reinforced, and it's just a row of standard and a row of standard down here. You can see it poking through the bottom here. And then in the middle is reinforced with a hole in the middle, and you just got to dump a bucket of water in there, like I dumped a bucket of lava in my industrial blast furnace. And that's pretty much it. Now, the automatic canning machine, do you have some cells? Yeah, you got cells. All right. The automatic canning machine, I made that because you use that with the industrial grinder. You use it for some other things too, but right now what I want to use it with is the industrial grinder. Oh, you know what? Actually, I have to cook this up. I forgot. I totally need to cook up my sin bar. I'm not ready to do that. Wow. Let me grab all this sin bar. I forgot that that's got to cook. I was thinking I just straight up used it. But it's got to go get cooked. And then it's going to come up here as mercury. I need it as quicksilver so that I can make mercury cells. Let's jump out here and take a look. We'll just grab that out of there and let that, yep, all right. So that's going to be passing into my inventory system pretty quickly here. I know I don't have a spot for mercury, so. Nope, that was a copper bar. It's still kicking up the copper bars. Let me throw the copper back in here so they'll filter down and get cooked up when it has a chance. Come on, I need some of this quicksilver. Waiting. Nope, still throwing up copper bars. I really need to replace all of this item duct with impulse item duct. There we go. That's quicksilver. That's what I get from the sin bar. Right here is the ore. Cinnabar. I always say cinnabar. So you put the cinnabar ore in the grinder and you get glowstone dust and redstone dust, and you get the cinnabar ore or cinnabar dust, and then you cook that and it becomes mercury, or not mercury, it becomes apparently that's flipped over, quicksilver. And there we go. And with the quicksilver, you put that in an automatic canning machine with your cells. So let's do that. And then what it's going to give me is mercury cells. And what you do is mercury cells allow you to get extra output from your industrial grinder. And so you can use water. Water works, and I use water for most of my stuff because the extra output isn't worth it on things like iron, because I have nearly 64 stacks of iron. Well, I had, what, almost 58 stacks anyways. 58 stacks of iron ore, which means I have like, 116 stacks of iron ingots. 116 stacks. That's a lot of iron ingots. And so with the mercury cells, then what you use it on is special stuff. And so special stuff is mostly going to be your ferrous ore right here. Now I will go ahead and grind up a normal ferrous ore, and it should all go into the box. So there's a normal ferrous ore just getting ground up with water. And so what we got was a small platinum dust and 2 ferrous ore and an iron dust. All right. If I put in mercury cells and you just plop them in there, 1, 2, and we'll put 10 of these in here. Then what we get out is shiny metal. You see that? A whole shiny metal. It takes, these are small, so 4 of these equals 1 of these. So by using the mercury, I can get 1 shiny metal for every ferrous metal that I put in there, which is awesome. And this is your main source of iridium. Come on. One more. There we go. And then you just take this and you drop it down in your centrifuge. Ooh, mine has got stuff in it waiting for another project here. And then this gets centrifuged out, and it will make an ingot, or a nugget, sorry. It'll make it will make a, there's like a billion things in here. It will make an iridium nugget. That's what I'm trying to think of. I don't know why I can't say the word iridium today. Are you gonna, somewhere in here, you gotta have the shiny, right? Man, this thing bleeds through a lot of stuff. Oh, there it was. Yeah, so here, you'll get an iridium nugget and nickel. And so that's your main source of getting iridium. So for every 9 ferrous ore, basically, you can, if you use the mercury, you will get an iridium ingot. We'll talk about the lathe next time, because we're gonna make a mining laser, and that's what the lathe is for, and that's what that other stuff you saw in the centrifuge is for. But yeah, so if you're gonna build your grinder to do your ferrous ore, make sure you use the mercury cells, because otherwise it's 81 ferrous per. That's not right. It's 4. It's for every 36 ferrous, you get, for every 36 ferrous ground with water, you get an iridium ingot. If you do it in the pulverizer, it's more like every 90 ferrous. So if you use the mercury, it's every 9 ferrous. So, make sure to do it that way. All right, we've gone long again because I can't do anything quickly for some reason on this mod pack. So, all right, click like if you like, subscribe, be sure and catch the next one, and I will talk to you later.